Okay, back to Chapter 1, Section 5, Solving Absolute Value Equations. These ones are a little bit busier because I see that I have x on both sides of the equation. Some absolute value equations have variables on both sides. You must check these solutions as you could end up with extraneous solutions. So an extraneous solution really just simply means you solve it, you get an answer for x, but when you check it, the answer for x does not provide a true statement. Okay, so answer doesn't provide a true statement. So we say the solution is extraneous. And typically what I have students do is just label that solution as ES for an extraneous solution. Okay, remember the rules with absolute value. You cannot set up your two cases until the absolute value bars are isolated. So I see over here that I've got a 7 in the front, and that indicates multiplication. So I have to divide both sides by 7. So I'm going to write out the original problem because I don't like to booger up the original problem when I cross things out. So this is 21x, subtract 49. Now I'm going to take both sides of the equation and divide by 7. Okay, so I end up with 8 subtract, the absolute value of 8 subtract 3x equals, now this 7, you've got to divide into both of these. Okay, so 7 divides 21 3 times, and 7 divides 49 7 times. Okay, this is really like 21x over 7 subtract 49 over 7. Okay, you can't just use it one time. It's got to divide both of those because it's a quantity. Now, I'm ready to set up my two cases and remove the bars. So case 1 is 8 subtract 3x equals, remember you set it equal to what's already there, 3x subtract 7. Case 2, take what's inside the bars out. This is me writing it twice. And now I have to take the opposite of this quantity. So make sure that you are using parentheses around that so that you're taking the opposite of the whole entire quantity. And now I'm just going to do my regular solving, just a regular equation. I'm going to take 3x over here by subtraction. This becomes 8 subtract 6x equals negative 7. I'm going to subtract 8. I get negative 6x equals negative 15. I'm going to divide. X equals negative over negative is positive. This is 15 over 6. And I'm going to simplify because these numbers are both divisible by 3. And when I divide 3 into 15, I get 5. And when I divide 3 into 6, I get 2. So x is 5 over 2 for the first case. And now I'm going to distribute, because remember you have to remove grouping symbols first when you're solving equations. So that's negative 3x, add 7. And I'm going to take this 3x over here by addition, but guess what happens? It goes away. So I end up with a statement that says 8 equals 7. And that's false. So there's no solution for the negative case. Now, I do have to check these, and I'm going to just check one solution because the other one was a false statement. I have no solution. Remember, you must check it in the original problem that you were given, which is up here. So I'm going to copy this. 7 times the absolute value of 8 subtract 3. I'm going to put a space for x and close my bar, equals 21 space for x minus 49. Now I'm going to take my x and substitute it. 5 halves. 5 halves. And this you might want to use a calculator. Let's see. I'm going to do what's inside the bars first. So let's do 8 subtract I'm going to do parentheses 3, parenthesis 5 over 2, which is division, close, close. Okay, that's what's inside the bars. That's a half. It's positive already, so I don't have to change the sign. Multiply that with 7. 3.5, which is really 7 over 2. Check the other side. Clear. 21 multiplied with 5 over 2. Close it. Now, I'm not going to do anything with that. I'm just going to hit subtract 49. And I get the same answer, 3.5, 7 halves. So I can be sure now that my answer, x equals 5 half, is a valid solution because I checked it. Next problem. Got a lot of stuff going on. Got to get rid of this 2/3. It's being multiplied with the absolute value expression. And so the only way to get rid of a fraction is to multiply by the reciprocal. When I do that, reciprocal of 2/3 is 3 halves. I'm writing the original problem down with it. And over here, I'm going to put the 3 halves in the front. And I'm going to multiply with 4 times quantity x minus 2. So that's just me setting it up. I'm going to tell you that it pays you to write a little bit more because you have to think less then because you're seeing more, okay? So try not to do a lot of this computation in your head. The more you write, the more you see, the more successful you will be. And that definitely is true. Well, 3 halves times 2/3 is really 6 divided by 6, or 1. And so that allows me to get the absolute value expression 3x minus 6 by itself on the left side of the equation. Now I'm going to take care of this. You know, this really is 4 over 1. And so 4 times 3 is 12, 2 times 1 is 2, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. And now I'm going to distribute on the right. So I've got absolute value of 3x subtract 6 equals 6x subtract 12. Now I can set up my two cases. Case 1 is 3x subtract 6 equals what's there, 6x subtract 12. Case 2, take what's inside the bars out, set that equal to the opposite of 6x minus 12. Okay, now I'm going to work with equation 1. I'm going to take the 6x over here via subtraction. That's going to give me a negative 3x. I'm going to add 6 to the other side. The negative 12 is going to become a negative 6. Divide by negative 3, x is 2. Over here, I'm going to distribute the negative, so I got 3x subtract 6 equals negative 6x plus 12. This time, add 6x to the 3x, and you get 9x. See, I like to not show all this stuff. So I cross it off, and then in my head, I know I'm adding. And then I cross this off, and I know I'm adding. So when I add 6 to 12, I get 18. And when I divide, I get x is 2. Well, that's nice. I get the same output for both the positive and the negative case. Now I'm going to check it. Excuse me. Remember, you check in the original, and the original's way up here. So I've got a 2 divided by 3 times the absolute value of 3. There's my space for x. Subtract 6 equals 4, parenthesis, space for x, minus 2. Okay, my x value was 2. Look here. 3 times 2 is 6, minus 6 is 0. Absolute value of 0 is 0 times this fraction is still 0. 2 subtract 2 inside the grouping is 0 times 4 is 0. It works. And so I now can conclude that my answer for this absolute value equation is x is 2. Now keep in mind, this is not always going to happen where you're going to get the same output. You could excuse me, get 2 different answers for x where only one works. If one works and the other doesn't, then you're going to call it an extraneous solution. If only one works, the other is an ES, extraneous solution. We already talked about that in the beginning of this note sheet. Answer doesn't provide a true statement after you check it. So it's really, really, really important that you check these equations. Okay? Again, if you have any questions, post them on the homework discussion or ask those questions in class. Instead of sending me a private message, I'll probably redirect you to post it on the homework discussion anyway. Homework here is page 36 to 37, these numbers, and then you have a worksheet, practice 1-5. So again, if you can print that out on Follow Me, you should do that. If not, then write down the original problem before you show your work for the solution. Okay, have a great day.